Hi, welcome to Revive Ministry vlog, actually, and actually using a new platform to try this out. Anyway, when this gets uploaded, it'll be February, and it's a time for a lot of us Valentine's Day in the States. But what we're going to be talking about today is finding wellness in our relationships in regards to our recovery and healing. Um, this is going to be recorded previous to February, but right now I'm in the midst of the holidays and I'm thinking about our connections. Now, before I begin just sharing a little bit of my insight, um, if you're in crisis, I ask you to please seek professional medical help. The crisis hotline for the U.S. is 1-800-273-8255. It's National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. I do encourage you, if you are in crisis, to know what your local resources are, whether you're in the States or out. There's a lot of virtual support groups I know that are sprung up, and they may not be everything, but a lot of times in recovery, most times what I've seen has been a holistic approach. This month, we a lot of times talk about connections. And the first quote, like I do in my normal episodes, traditionally this month is other things may change us, but we start and end with family. I feel our families kind of shape how we view the world. And from my experience, being up here myself, it could be it could be a strong foundation or a very brittle one. It's funny how sometimes most times our closest family or friends provide some of the most precious moments in our lives, but also the most painful ones too. Um, Steve, Steve, our Covey says it like says the same, emphasizes the same point I just made. Our greatest joy and our greatest pain comes in a relationship with others, but at the same time, it shouldn't dissuade us because for me, I find a lot of healing when it comes to the topic of this month, finding wellness. When there's a good foundation, when there's a good home per se. There's a difference from living in a house and living in a home. I'm in the midst of the holidays, and that is very apparent. Everyone needs a house to live, but a supported family is what builds a home. Those who have lost someone, those um, who lived with them, the house doesn't seem the same. The home um, is a concept that's different for each individual who um, understands that whole idea of what home means to them. You know, um, I also understand this idea, and one person said an interesting thing to me in group has said, doesn't mean that you have to have bad things happen to you for good things. So you how the person said it was, doesn't mean that you have to have bad things to get good things in life. And I said no, but I do. There's one expression or quote. I don't know who said this. I said the good news is only as good as the bad news was. The emphasis I was trying to say was that we appreciate things more when we actually begin to remember um, how contrasting the situation is compared to now. Gratitude, I find, and has been a very healing source for those in recovery, those who are struggling, especially right now during this COVID. I assume will still be going on. I hope with better control and, well, not control, with better insight on each other's self, but also a plan to move forward, whatever forward the future looks like now. But I do find that gratitude has fostered a lot of growth in at least my recovery. Um, Fear can be a huge deterrent, whether it's with our connections or our relationships. And that's a tricky thing with recovery because we don't want to be alone. But um, some of the things that we have to overcome are our fears. Everything you want is on the side of fear. The things we try to control a lot of times unfortunately end up controlling us. Um, I I do like this idea that listening a lot of times when it comes to helping, serving one another's, um, listening has been very beneficial, more so than fixing. I think of people who been hurt in whatever way. You put them in a group that's a safe place. You begin. They don't solve anything, regards of practicality of what they're going through, but somehow they feel better. Um, it's something about connections that, and this month is February, and a lot of emphasis on the romantic connections. But as you saw in the beginning of the video, I feel like every connection matters. There's different dynamics, but when we start to begin to see others differently and start to remember the things that we're grateful for, it's okay to be around people who don't think like you. You know, the one constant in life is change. And, um, I've told my story many of times on this podcast, but my faith has been the one constant static, my view of God. But at the same time, I find just the idea of knowing what your why is, your purpose, makes the how a little bit more bearable. Um, so I encourage those who are listening um, to be reminded that though the connections and relationships may be bleak, maybe you've been hurt. Um, remember, like the quote I said before from Stephen Covey, our greatest joy and greatest pain comes in our relationships with others. And at the same start, it shouldn't deter us. Sometimes the reason that is so apparent is because, in my opinion, is because we're more vulnerable. And I feel sometimes we are blessed when we're able to have that safe place and find that right person to be vulnerable with. I hope through this whole month you'll hear different aspects and perspective of this topic. And I just want to encourage you to check out our website at reviveministriesfl.com for all new content. And again, thank you for listening. It's always just so nice to share. It's one thing to also share, but also, to serve, to help people. But remember also that we must also be good at receiving a gift too. Be grateful. Remember those who have helped you. And till next time.